Besides eating cereal with water, what is the most outrageous eating sin you have ever witnessed? Peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich. Dipping Oreos in orange juice. Eating a Kit Kat whole as opposed to individually tearing off the chocolate fingers. I used to be obsessed with A1. I would put it on everything possible because I loved it so much. One day I put it on Jello. I no longer enjoy A1. My friend was eating salad with his hands at a restaurant. He's not my friend anymore. A ketchup brownie. My cousin. This son of a bee. I work at a pub restaurant waiting tables. This couple walks in who I've never seen but are apparently regulars. The bartender sees them, shoots me a glance, and goes to grab something from the kitchen. Before even taking their order, he's filled the crushed red pepper shaker and told me to take it over to them. The woman orders a small cup of French onion soup and proceeds to unscrew the cap of the shaker and dump the entirety of it onto her soup, an inch high off the top of her bowl. She's eating this spicy red pepper like cereal and didn't even ask for a drink refill. Can we stop putting ketchup on literally everything? My wife dips PBJs into spaghettios. A couple of years ago when my best friend and I were still in college, she stayed over at mine a few times. It was then that I learned that she liked dipping cheese into hot chocolate, like full on dunking it in, waiting for it to partially melt, swirling it around and then eating it. I love her to bits. She's like my kid sister, but I still haven't entirely recovered. When I visited my aunt's family as a kid, she served a purple cow milk mixed with grape juice for breakfast. If you haven't tasted that, take my word for it, it's not a great concoction. This is my own confession. I really love to eat lemons. Not in wedges or squeezed on things, but in the way you would eat an orange or a clementine, by peeling it and eating the whole thing. For some reason sourness is just the best to me. I'm a person of many weird food preferences, but this is the one that causes witnesses to cringe the most. Mixing ketchup with soda. Granted, we were trying to gross each other out, but still, it was an act of culinary violence unlike anything else I've ever seen. My cousin put salt in her cereal one time. She puked like 5 minutes after. My baby sister used to eat pancakes and ranch. My mom just accepted it because she was such a picky eater and this was something she just thoroughly enjoyed. We're pretty sure it's cause my mom craved both when she was pregnant with her. I used to make cheese sandwiches with cinnamon raisin bread. Dude in my dining hall had a plate of sunny side up eggs, scooped under an egg with his fork, brought it up to his mouth, and only touched his lips to the yolk. Proceeded to suck all the yolk, and then slurped the rest of the egg in. It was like a car crash. I couldn't look away, but I was horrified. My sister used to put ketchup on strawberries. Who here looking for snack tips? I watched a guy pour Sprite into a nice $50 bottle of wine because he didn't like the flavor. My Asian relatives eat shrimp with all the legs and stuff still on. In college I would sometimes drain the water out of my shrimp capo noodles and mix in a big spoonful of peanut butter. I honestly don't know what to tell you other than I did it once out of boredom. It wasn't terrible, and it made my life interesting. The wife dips Oreos in water like a psychopath. When I was a server, I had a customer dip her bread in a glass of Coke. She finished her whole bread basket and Coke and asked for another basket and another refill of Coke, and went to town again for round 2. She didn't give a crap how she looked and ate that shit like it was the best thing on earth. The guy on 4chan who fermented a bottle of his own semen into liquor. I had a friend who went through a period where cake decorating was her hobby, and she made some amazing looking cakes that all tasted horrible because of the bizarre flavor combinations. It was always a bit funny because people would compliment the look of them and then have to figure out how to throw their pieces away without being rude about it. The worst one was a Christmas cake with an immaculate looking fondant Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer that was an orange spice cake covered in mint icing. It was like brushing your teeth and rinsing with orange juice in cake form. From the last time this was asked, 30-year-old Macallan mixed with Diet Coke. My dad's girlfriend puts cucumber in any hot dish she can. Green chili, chicken soup, taco meat, Sky's the limit. She also doesn't believe in draining noodles and will let them sit in hot water until each strand of bloated spaghetti is as thick as a goddamn shoelace. I don't eat there anymore. Mustard on waffles. I was a weird kid. My friend dips her pizza on Coke. Friend's mom used to eat soy sauce with ice cream. I knew a guy who would bite into Hot Pockets in the middle, holding each end. WTF man. Ketchup on sushi, shivers. A former friend of mine once poured a can of Coors Light into a bowl of Cheerios. He called it Beerious. I used to eat blueberries with ketchup on them because I like the texture. My whole sibling group eats tomatoes and peeled oranges, clementines like a normal person would eat an apple. But the worst I've ever seen is a guy in my class take a cheese and sauce filled roll type thing, rip a hole in the bottom and suck it dry, in a restaurant with other people. Another time, my little sister, she was a tiny kid at the time, got gulab jamun at an Indian buffet. They're like milky donut holes soaked in watery sugary syrup. She leaned over the table and vacuumed them up off the plate so she didn't get her hands sticky. One of my coworkers will smear mayo, not mayonnaise, on a banana then dump peanut crumbles on it. He also wears socks with sandals in the winter, in the snow, in the Midwest. My wife likes crunchy peanut butter and bologna sandwiches with cheese. Her mom also adds mayo. I just can't bring myself to try it, literally start retching at the thought of the flavor. He ate a Snickers bar with a knife and fork. My sister would make Ritz cracker sandwiches, except the thing that went between the two Ritz cracker buns was another Ritz cracker, except chewed up and spit out. It was disgusting. Mom's boyfriend crushed Cheez-It crackers into his coffee. That day he ate waffles covered in spinach and fish sticks drizzled with syrup, all the while loudly smacking his lips saying, "Oh, so good." Mom says don't let it bother me. It bothers me. My roommate's mom eats peanut butter and onion sandwiches. As a kid, we heard about cheeseburger pizza. Pizza but with ketchup and mustard instead of tomato sauce, American cheese instead of mozzarella, and hamburger meat on top. So, we tried it. You wouldn't think it would be that different. The ingredients are the same as an actual hamburger, except pizza dough is actually very different from the bread of a hamburger bun. It's kind of sweeter and fluffier, and really soaks in the ketchup and mustard to an absolutely disgusting degree. It's awful. Well, I just saw that Heinz mayonnaise has come out with a Cadbury eggs mayonnaise and I'm really concerned for the people who eat that abomination. I worked in a restaurant that served authentic imported Kobe beef. I had someone order a 16-ounce Kobe filet mignon. Well done. The chef nearly cried and definitely threw things. If I recall correctly, he ended up having to put that $200 steak into the microwave to get it to cook all the way through to well without burning the outside to charcoal. The guest was pleased and his date looked horrified. My friend ran out of milk so she thought she could possibly use coffee creamer instead. Apple slices dipped in mustard. It was hard to watch. Saw a dude eat spaghetti in milk one time. One very dark time. My grandparents like peanut butter and pickle sandwiches, so I've been told. One time, a long time ago, I ate Lucky Charms with Guinness as a St. Patrick's Day bastardization. I would not recommend. I live with someone who lives to eat food sins. Do you really think water with cereal is bad? Boy, the thing I would consider the least of eating sins would be when she microwaved a fucking pickle with cheese on it, then dipped in fucking ice cream. I can't stand to sit in the kitchen when she's in there because of the shit she made. If anyone is interested, I'll provide more horrid creations she made and ate, but all you really need to know is that fucking pickle. Eat cereal with orange juice instead of milk. Mustard on cheesecake. Drinking ranch straight out of the bottle. My mom puts peanut butter on cold pizza. It is the closest flavor to vomit that is not vomit. A watermelon and ketchup sandwich. I call it a sandwich because it makes me sad.